Hello, and welcome to DreamLadder Capital's Equity Market Update. Let's dive into the key highlights driving the markets for October 10th, 2024. U.S. stocks rose for a second straight session on Wednesday, with the S&P 500 and Dow Jones closing at record highs. Technology stocks led the charge as investors brushed off lingering geopolitical concerns. The S&P 500 rallied 0.7%, notching an all-time high, while the Nasdaq gained 0.6%. The Dow surged more than 1%, closing at a new record. On the economic front, all eyes are on the September Consumer Price Index and Producer Price Index readings, which are due out today and Friday, respectively. Meanwhile, earnings season kicks off tomorrow with major banks like JPMorgan Chase and Wells Fargo. The U.S. Treasury yields have risen to 4.07%, as minutes of the meeting from the Federal Reserve showed some internal disagreement over the size of the rate cut, with most central bank committee members ultimately supporting a half-point reduction. Asian markets are trading in the green. Chinese markets are trading with good gains after yesterday's sharp fall. Japan's Producer Price Index rose 2.8% in September from a year earlier. In the commodities market, oil futures extended their losses for a second straight session, closing at their lowest in a week. This came after U.S. government crude inventory data revealed a nearly 6 million barrel weekly increase. December Brent crude dropped 0.8%, settling at 76.6 per barrel. In India, benchmark equity indices returned to the red after a brief recovery, weighed down by selling in FMCG stocks, RIL, and HDFC Bank. Gains from earlier in the session were erased in the final hour, with both the Nifty and Sensex closing near Wednesday's lows. The Nifty ended 0.12% lower, while the Sensex shed 0.21%. This dip followed the Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy meeting, which signaled a shift in the liquidity stance to neutral from the earlier withdrawal of accommodation, hinting at a potential rate cut. With the stance change out of the way, market will now look forward to the first rate cut. Market will assign higher probability to rate cut in the next monetary policy review, scheduled for December. Foreign investors remained net sellers for the 8th consecutive session, offloading Rs 4,563 crore worth of stocks, while domestic institutional investors stepped in, buying stocks worth 3,509 crore. As the corporate bond curve remains inverted, given the ongoing pressures on banks' credit deposit ratio, and this could get resolved as RBI commences monetary easing. Thus, the so-called sweet spot, or where the maximum fall in yields can happen, is actually the front end of the corporate curve, up to 2 years. Therefore, we believe that the best way to build duration is via government bonds. In corporate news, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister has announced that BPCL plans to establish a refinery in the state with an investment of Rs 85,000 crore. The company is currently conducting a feasibility study to determine the location. Adani Enterprises aims to raise $500 million through a share sale, offering approximately 14.2 million shares at an indicative price of 2,962 each. This represents an implied discount of 6.08% to the last closing price. Star Health and Allied Insurance has filed a statement regarding a data breach issue, acknowledging that it was the victim of a targeted cyber attack. However, they have confirmed that operations remain unaffected and all services continue without interruption. PNC Infratech has been declared the L1 bidder for an EPC project, with the item rate percentage awarded to PNC Infratech and Acacia Infra Projects for 2,090 crore. Lastly, the Gift Nifty is trading 111 points up from its previous close of 25,080. That's all for today's market update. Stay tuned for more insights, and don't forget to subscribe to DreamLadder Capital for the latest market news and analysis.